Just wanted to know from you what convinced successful novelists like you to actually try your hand at non-fiction this time around, and that also such an intimate personal account, talk about things, because what triggered was a story on flowers in Himalaya. So what actually, why did you decide to take a plunge to write such an intimate personal account talking about things that you do in the book?
Um, I had been writing about the hills in short form for quite a long time. I'd published some essays and so on over time. And I also would keep a kind of diary of unusual things that happened around the place. And then I started looking at all these things at a time when my publisher in England during COVID said to me that people are all locked up in their homes and they would be so grateful to travel through a book and to go to a place like the Himalaya and to know about the flowers, and so why don't you try something like that? But I'm really not a botanist, and though I started with the flowers, uh, as soon as I began writing about the flowers, I realized you can't separate the plants from the people or the soil or the place. So bit by bit, it became a book about the place, and it really is a book about how uh, I and my husband, both as city dwellers, came to live in a small place like Ranikhet. I would not say it's very personal, it's not a memoir, but it's certainly about the experience of a place from the point of view of initially an urban person and then gradually getting to know the place over time.
Okay, but mom, like it's your first non-fiction full-length book, so to say.
Yeah.
How was the experience writing it? Because you have been writing fiction for a long time and have got awards from everywhere for that. Was it relatively easy to put down these thoughts when it compared to fiction and all, or otherwise relatively easy or challenging, or it was a mix of both?
The challenges are different, and certainly with fiction, I find the whole writing much harder, because with fiction you start with a blank page. You have to sort of build the house, put the people there, make the landscape, imagine the smells, everything has to come from inside you. So I do find that much harder, but it's extremely exhilarating and exciting too. That's why I write fiction. With non-fiction, you start with all that already there, and then the challenge is really to understand that landscape and the people and the place and communicate what you want to about it in a way that will bring other people into that world.
Mom, if you have to say, like you only said, if you have to actually sum up this book in one line, uh, it's also to say that the couple who are a city dweller and actually making their life in the hills and all, and talk about it. I was just wondering, with people these days living their life from one Instagram reel to another, for them they have this very exotic thing about, they romanticize it a lot, that to have a cottage in the hills and all.
Yeah.
Probably you actually make them understand about the nitty-gritties of how tough it is.
Yeah.
It is not as if you are going for a staycation and booking an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Putting up a life over there is a different ballgame
Yeah,
altogether.
absolutely.
Do you think that you have actually discouraged them a lot, saying that probably you have to get your hands dirty if you want to keep imagining of actually having a house over there?
Yeah.
What do you have to say? Because people have romanticized this thought a lot.
People now often ask me, what is it? I also love the hills. I would really like to go and live there. And what would you say? And I would tell them that you need to, it's not something you can do just to escape the city, or if you think that it's going to be a beautiful place where you'll do beautiful things, that's not how it is. I would think that you have to be used to a lot of solitude, quite a lot of, it's a tough life in many ways. You have to visit the hills in the difficult seasons, especially the monsoon, to really understand if you're cut out for that kind of life. Because just as you're saying, just as there are many wonderful aspects to it, there are also quite a lot of problems that you have to figure out how to cope with and survive.
Mm-hmm. and you bring that out in the book as well. Ma'am, personal is political, and many of the thoughts that actually and the topics that you cover in the book, be it about stray dogs and how we treat them, or the equation about man or woman versus wild, that way, have come out beautifully in the book and talk about it. And these are the issues that we actually see with no less than Supreme Court talking about it, be it stray dogs and all. If you could talk about, like, when you were writing it, when the book was out, probably that thing was not there in the Supreme Court mind at that point of time. But later on, it was all over the newspaper headlines, and these issues are very much live and very much political these days. So what do you make of it?
I think that the real, human beings think that they are the center of the universe, and that other species are somehow, they have to fall into line, they have to become, they, as insofar as they are useful, convenient, non-threatening, that's how they see other species. Whereas if you live in a place like the mountains, where wildlife is all around you, and of course stray dogs or community dogs are not wildlife, but they are also all around you, then you do get a different perspective on the forest. Has a life of its own. It's almost a secret life that we can only gain glimpses of. And you understand that the sort of owl you see flitting away at dusk, or the leopards that share the space with us, they are species that are as important as humans. And as humans who have technology and power to destroy things, we have much greater responsibility to, understand that we share the world with animals.